So today we are going to have a creative session. It's another session from one of my sessions that I'm doing. In the past I've already done a creative session about imaginary city. It was an imaginary city of an old city. This time I'm going to have a creative session about futuristic imaginary city. So let's begin. Also, if you love this video, don't forget to comment down below, like, subscribe, and let's begin. So what I learned from the last time is that when I'm getting into some character, I have like easier time to imagining things, and easier time to have some associative talking with myself, let's say. And so I'll begin by saying that my city is the city that I see is a post-apocalyptic city. I see a city that is standing in the middle of nowhere in the desert. It seems like there is like only one path to go to this city. And when I'm going to the city, I can see that I have an overlord, and that can help me go through the desert. So I'm going by 100 kilometers per second per hour, and I see myself reaching to the city, and whenever I'm passing like the path, there is like a flow of sand going to the sides, and I'm reaching to the gate, and I'm being welcomed by the cleric of the city. And the cleric of the city says, welcome, I've been waiting for you for a long time. And the cleric of the city is taking me, he has some sort of a wand. This is, let's say, is called as sort of a witcher. Because he has a lot of things, that is a lot of medications that have known to be really helpful in the past. So these medications were known in the past, but they have been forgotten within time. And after being in post-apocalyptic nuclear war, this cleric comes with all his knowledge. So he has this sort of wand that helps him in walking, because he is already elder, and he is probably the only elder person around the city. And he is telling me that he's taking me to his tent, and this tent seems to be like the richest tent in the city. It has red, and it has a lot of gold stripes, and he's receiving me into his tent, and he's showing me a map of place that he needs me to go. He needs me to go to this place in order to find a part for the medications that he needs. Because this medication is really important. It's really important to have this medication now, because a lot of the city citizens are really sick. There is some plague, and as you know, as part of humanity, I have to help him. So I'm taking my overboard, and I'm taking a couple of guards with me, and we are getting as fast as possible outside of the city, getting as fast as possible to reach the city, to reach another city. And this city is like 600 kilometers from us, and this is probably the fastest way. I'm probably the fastest way to reach there, because I have this overboard that I found and I fixed by myself. So I'm taking the guards with me to the city, to the city that is far away from the current city. The city seems to be guarded really well, and the people there are not really trusting. So they decide to shoot an arrow to our legs, and once we see that this city is untrusting, we decide to say okay, and we are going back on our way to see if there is another way to get in. We find out there is an underground tunnel, and we decide to get into the tunnel, and by this tunnel we find out if there is some guards inside. We are shooting, but when I went to this medic in the previous city, I took a couple of things from him, and one of these things were tranquilizing arrows. So when we get into this underground tunnel, I decide to shoot these tranquilizing arrows. Two of the guards are fallen, and there is another one left. And before I see him like going back and trying to notify everyone, rushing back and trying to notify everyone, I decide to go and jump over his back. So I jump over his back, and I'm dropping him down to the floor, and then I'm giving him a huge fist to the face in order to shut him down. So we reach the city, and we are now trying to look over the medication materials that the cleric needed. And we find these medication materials in the tent of in an empty tent. This tent was empty because the area ward, the city lord, was currently bathing in the lake, in a really small artificial lake next to the city. So the tent is empty, and we find these medications, and we are when we find it, we are rushing as fast as possible back to to the underground tunnel, getting back uh, as soon as possible to the other city by taking the overboard. To our luck, nobody saw that we have gotten into the tunnel and that the overboard is outside. So we are taking the overboard and we are rushing back to the city as fast as possible. And when we rush into the city, we see that the city went on fire. And what we find out later is that the Lord that went into the small lake told the city guards that he want them to attack the city with that had the cleric, and this is the reason that the city is in ruins, because they planned on conquering the city. So we came out late, and now we need to decide what we are planning to do. So this is the end of this part. I might continue the story. This story, as you understood, is totally coming from the mind, and I'm building it as fast as possible while I'm talking. And first of all, I have to say this is really cool, because I can see that I'm at least becoming more creative, thinking about the Lord that is having a good time and is happy because he knows that the gods are conquering the other city, and also that's the reason of the tents being cleared. So this is really cool that I'm thinking more creative faster. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you loved it, don't forget to comment down below, like, subscribe. Enjoy the day.